$1 million for a laptop. You read that right. The Luvaglio laptop launched with an astonishing price tag that made headlines worldwide. But what exactly makes a laptop worth the same as a mansion? Today we're uncovering the truth behind what might be the biggest tech ripoff in history. The internet's filled with stories about this mythical device, but very few people have actually seen one in person. After weeks of research, tracking down industry experts, and digging through archives of tech history, I discovered some shocking truths about the world's most expensive laptop. What I found will make you question everything you know about luxury tech products and the marketing machine behind them. By the end of this video, you'll understand exactly why this $1 million laptop represents everything wrong with status symbol technology. The story starts back in 2007, when a British company called Luvaglio announced they were creating a laptop that would cost exactly $1 million. At a time when premium laptops cost around $2,000, this announcement sent shockwaves through the tech world. According to Luvaglio's press materials, this wasn't just a laptop, it was a $1 million experience. The company claimed the device featured precious metals, rare woods, and even a diamond that doubled as the power button. Tech publications worldwide ran with the story, fascinated by what seemed like the ultimate status symbol. The company's founder, Rohan Sinclair Luvaglio, became an overnight sensation, appearing in interviews where he explained that his creation wasn't merely a computer but a bespoke masterpiece. Each one would be custom-built to the owner's specifications, with no two units being exactly alike. But here's where things get interesting. Despite all the publicity, actual details about the laptop's technical specifications were surprisingly scarce. Most of the coverage focused on the luxury materials and customization options, with very little information about what was actually under the hood. When pressed for details in interviews, Luvaglio would typically respond with vague statements about cutting-edge technology and unparalleled performance, without providing any specific benchmarks or hardware information. This should have been the first red flag. For context, 2007 was the year Apple released the first iPhone. The tech world was rapidly evolving, but even the most advanced laptops of that era featured Intel Core 2 Duo processors, maybe 4 GB of RAM, and hard disk drives measured in hundreds of gigabytes, not terabytes. High-end gaming laptops might have cost $4,000, $5,000 at most. So what exactly made this laptop worth 200 times more than other premium devices on the market? The diamond power button was one frequently mentioned feature, supposedly a rare 17-karat diamond worth several $100,000 on its own. The chassis was said to be crafted from rare woods, precious metals, and even materials like ostrich leather. But when it comes to actual computing power, the Luvaglio seemed to offer nothing particularly revolutionary. No groundbreaking new processor, no display technology years ahead of competitors. Nothing that would actually make it perform better than laptops costing a tiny fraction of its price. One of the most telling aspects of the story is how few actual reviews or hands-on experiences exist with the Luvaglio laptop. For all the media coverage it received, hardly anyone seems to have actually used one. I tracked down several tech journalists who covered luxury gadgets during that period. None had seen the laptop in person. Most had simply reported on the press releases and promotional materials provided by Luvaglio. One former editor at a major tech publication told me, "We requested a review unit multiple times, but the company always had excuses. First, it was that they were still finalizing the design, then that all units were custom built to order, then that they didn't have any available. After a while, we just gave up asking." This pattern repeats throughout the Luvaglio story. Lots of hype, lots of media coverage, but very little concrete evidence that the product ever existed in a functional form. The company did release a handful of promotional images showing what appeared to be a rather bulky laptop with some fancy materials on its outer shell. But detailed photos of the screen, keyboard, ports, or internal components were conspicuously absent. And this brings us to perhaps the most damning evidence against the Luvaglio laptop, the lack of verifiable owners. If you spend $1 million on a laptop, chances are you'd want people to know about it. You probably show it off on social media, or it might get mentioned in profiles about your luxury lifestyle. Yet despite years of searching, I couldn't find a single verified owner of a Luvaglio laptop. The company claimed to cater to ultra-high net worth individuals who value exclusivity, suggesting that owners might prefer to remain anonymous. But even in the world of luxury goods, completely hidden ownership is unusual. Wealthy collectors of rare cars, watches, or art typically don't mind being known as owners, even if they keep the items themselves secure. When I reached out to Luvaglio for this video, my inquiries went unanswered. The company's website, which once featured glossy images and bold claims about the million-dollar laptop, is now gone. Their social media accounts haven't been updated in years. Industry experts I consulted were all skeptical about the Luvaglio laptop ever being more than a publicity stunt. A former executive at a luxury electronics manufacturer told me, "The numbers never made sense. Even using gold, platinum, and diamonds, you'd struggle to justify a $1 million price tag for a laptop unless the components inside were truly revolutionary, and they weren't. Nothing about the specs suggested technology that didn't already exist in far cheaper devices. But what are the diamond power button? Surely that accounted for a significant portion of the cost." I spoke with a gemologist who specializes in evaluating diamonds for insurance purposes. After reviewing the limited photos available of the supposed diamond, they expressed doubt about both its size and quality. Based on what's visible in these promotional images, that doesn't appear to be a flawless 17-carat diamond. The cut and clarity would significantly reduce its value from what was claimed. Even more telling was my conversation with a custom electronics designer who creates bespoke technology for wealthy clients. True luxury tech isn't just about slapping expensive materials on a standard device. They explained, it's about creating something with unique functionality, exceptional craftsmanship, and perfect reliability. Nothing in the Luvaglio story suggested they had achieved any of these things. The timing of the Luvaglio announcement is also suspicious. In 2007, the tech industry was beginning to experience a luxury boom. Apple was redefining premium consumer electronics with the iPhone. Companies like Vertu were selling $20,000 mobile phones. There was a growing market for status symbol technology. A $1 million laptop generated exactly the kind of headlines that would position Luvaglio as a player in this emerging ultra-luxury tech space, whether or not they could actually deliver the product. This seems to have been the real purpose all along, not to sell laptops, but to sell the idea of Luvaglio as a luxury brand. The $1 million laptop was essentially a marketing vehicle designed to generate publicity that could later be converted into sales of more accessible, but still overpriced products. Shortly after the laptop announcement, Luvaglio began promoting other luxury tech accessories, things like premium USB drives and laptop cases with 5-figure price tags. These items didn't require the engineering complexity of a functional computer, but could ride on the coattails of the publicity generated by the $1 million laptop. The pattern is familiar in the luxury goods market. Create an headline-grabbing halo product that few people can afford, then use that prestige to sell more accessible items to aspirational consumers. But unlike established luxury brands with long histories of delivering quality products, Luvaglio appears to have been built entirely on hype. And that hype was centered around a product that may never have existed in functional form. The Luvaglio laptop story represents something troubling about our relationship with technology and status. We've reached a point where the perceived value of tech products often has little to do with their actual functionality or usefulness. Think about it. What would a $1 million laptop actually do for you that a $2,000 laptop wouldn't? Would your emails send any faster? Would your spreadsheets calculate any more accurately? Would your videos render with better quality? The answer, of course, is no. Past a certain point, you're no longer paying for improved performance. You're paying for bragging rights. You're paying to show that you can afford to waste money on something unnecessarily expensive. And that's exactly what Luvaglio was selling. Not a better computing experience, but an exclusive status symbol. A way to stand out from the merely wealthy with their ordinary 5-figure laptops. The irony is that true innovators in the tech world, people who actually create revolutionary products, rarely focus on such superficial displays of wealth. Steve Jobs famously wore the same outfit every day. Mark Zuckerberg drives a relatively modest car. Bill Gates, despite being one of the world's richest people, wears a $50 watch. These individuals understand that true value in technology comes from what it enables you to do, not how it makes you look to others. The Luvaglio laptop story exposes the emptiness behind much of luxury tech marketing. It shows how easily we can be seduced by the idea of exclusivity and status, even when there's nothing of substance behind it. What's particularly disturbing is how little scrutiny the company's claims receive from the tech media. Publications that would typically tear apart every specification of a new Apple or Samsung product seed content to simply repeat Luvaglio's vague assertions without demanding evidence. This uncritical coverage helped legitimize what appears to have been, at best, an overhyped product concept and, at worst, an outright scam. So where does this leave us? What can we learn from the million-dollar laptop that probably never existed? First, be skeptical of luxury tech products that focus more on materials than functionality. A gold-plated smartphone is still just a smartphone. A diamond-encrusted laptop is still just a laptop. The core technology isn't improved by these cosmetic additions. Second, demand specifics. If a company won't provide detailed technical specifications, user reviews, or independent testing results, that's a major red flag, regardless of the price point. Third, remember that innovation rarely comes with an unnecessarily inflated price tag. True technological breakthroughs typically aim to become more accessible over time, not less. The Luvaglio story isn't just about one questionable product. It's about how easily marketing and hype can override our critical thinking, especially when it comes to luxury goods and status symbols. The million-dollar laptop may never have been real, but the desire it exploited certainly is. The desire to own something exclusive, to possess what others cannot, to display wealth through increasingly expensive toys. As technology becomes ever more central to our lives, we should be wary of companies that try to turn essential tools into status symbols. A more expensive laptop won't make you more productive. A gold-plated smartphone won't improve your communications. The next time you see a headline about an outrageously expensive tech product, ask yourself, am I looking at innovation or just expensive packaging? Am I seeing engineering excellence or just marketing hype? Because sometimes a million-dollar laptop is just a very expensive lesson in how easily we can be fooled. If you found this investigation interesting, hit the like button and subscribe to the channel for more tech myths debunked. I'm already researching my next expose on luxury tech scams that you won't want to miss.